What's up YouTube? Graylan Stewart here with another video. Today's video I'm going to tell you about my Airbnb nightmare. Alright, so let's get into it. So basically, I'll just walk you through why I started these Airbnbs and exactly what went wrong, okay? So this was probably around July or so in 2019, okay? I came across these properties and negotiated a smoking deal on them. It was 6 different houses, and I didn't really have to remodel them. It was very light work at most. So I ended up being probably all in between maybe $10,000 to $15,000 on each house, and I had 6 of them. Okay, so I was like, okay, well, this is a cool little college town. It's only a couple of miles from the college and the stadium, big football town too. So I was like, let me just go ahead and Airbnb these. So what that means is now I've got to fully outfit 6 entire houses. Now these were all 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom houses. They were all around 1,200 square feet, give or take, a little bit. But all 3-bed, 2-bath in a college town, and they were all kind of in the same 1-mile radius, and all within a couple 2 to 3 miles from the football stadium. Okay, in this little college town. So I thought it'd be great. Airbnb, it's perfect. So obviously we spent a couple of months just making them look perfect, not super perfect, but just more presentable, because there was some work that needed to be done on some of these. One of them we only had to replace the carpet, but a few others needed a little bit more work. So just on average, I'm probably all in for about 15 grand on each of these properties. Okay, but obviously, my first choice was like, or my first thought at least was, okay, these are great wholesale deals, because these are worth probably 50 grand a piece, and I'm getting them for probably close to 10 before remodeling anything. But so I could make good wholesale deal out of this, maybe make around 10 grand per property, 5 at least on the low. But then I was like, well, do I want 5 times 6 minimum, worst case scenario 30 grand, but probably make around 40 grand for a wholesale fee, or should I try to turn these into cash flowing properties? So I chose the latter, obviously, hence the name Airbnb Nightmare. So I'll get into the nightmare part here in a minute. But at the time, I thought it was a great idea, which it was, because it met all the criteria. It's in pretty good location. It's close to action, where things to do are in town, which in this case was the football stadium. It's a big football town, but it's also close to other things in the community that are kind of like happening around the area, and it was a safe area and that kind of thing. So the properties were nice. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. So technically, I advertised that they would sleep 8. A couple of them, I think I advertised they would sleep 7. So so backtracking a little bit. So obviously I had to completely outfit all these houses. Okay. So I had to do, from silverware, paper towels, to coffee makers, to full-blown mattresses, home decor, curtains, blinds, TVs, TV stands, everything that you have in your house currently. Just put that in your head and imagine that. I had to buy all of that for every house. So 6 of them technically is what I ended up doing. I ended up only Airbnb in 4 of them, but I ended up buying enough for all 6 of these houses. Okay. So obviously that took a little while to come up with all those different things and to make the logistics of all that happen. But I did that on the cheap, because most of the decor and furniture I actually got on Facebook Marketplace. And then the actual mattresses are really the only things I bought brand new. I take that back. I bought the curtains brand new and the silverware. The cheaper items that are pretty easy to get, because you can get that at Ross. You can get curtains for $12. There's a window in every bedroom typically, and then a couple in the living room or whatever. So, every house might need, 7, 8, 10 curtains. So at $12 a piece, then you got to buy the rods. They're like $5. So, anyways, I went cheap on a lot of it, and then even the dishes and stuff I got at Ross because they're $1 a piece. It was just easy. I could just get a bunch of stuff all there at once. Probably spent around, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 bucks on all just like the kitchen type stuff, and the curtains. It's probably more than that. It's probably closer to 2,500. I don't know the numbers. I don't have it all exact, but I do know I'm all in about 15 grand on each property, including all the furniture. So I got all the couches, all the actual bed frames or beds themselves, and the dressers, nightstands, all that kind of stuff I got on Facebook Marketplace. And then the TVs I bought new because I bought smart TVs from Amazon. They were literally like 200 bucks a piece, and they were 40-inch TVs, smart TVs. So, long story short, I outfitted 4 of these properties. Okay, started Airbnb them. So I put them on Airbnb and VRBO. So this was July when I got these properties. I finally got them live on Airbnb and everything. I believe it was October, early October. So it was just kind of shortly after the football season started for college football. So it was going great. Between the 4 properties, I was probably averaging, I don't know, 1,500 to 2,000 a month in cash flow on these properties. And again, I paid cash for all these, so there's no mortgage or anything like that. So it's true cash flow, minus their taxes and insurance. So most of that was true cash flow every single month. But so this was, keep in mind, this was at this time October of 2018. So it went great. Obviously, the bigger, more competitive games, we were able to get even more. On a weekend, we were getting $300 to $400 per night. On weekdays, I would usually get between 79 to 120 per night, for different ones. And, I learned as I went, tried to make it mostly, for the most part, automated as much as I could. Of course, I had a VA kind of handling the main things, responses to people. So we have a bunch of canned responses to where they could just reply easy. But anyways, so what turned into a nightmare. So now we get into the winter months. Obviously, it gets colder, right? It was still going good because the football season ended, November-ish or early December. I don't even remember exactly. But whatever that was, it slowed down a little bit after that. But we were still making decent money. A couple of the properties were breaking even maybe when it got like Christmas or a little after. And it wasn't terrible actually because we were still getting like holiday type bookings too. So I take that back. It wasn't really breaking even by then. We were probably still making a few $100s at least per property, but there's still a couple of them that we just had more people in there, just had better success. People liked the decor better or whatever. So a couple of them were still probably making close to 1,000 at that time. But then January hits, it's a little slow, still doing okay. It's not killing it or anything, but between the 4, at least the 4 properties, our only expenses are obviously the utilities, got to have Wi-Fi for the TV, and obviously if they have if they have a computer or something. So Wi-Fi, utilities, and the insurance. So we're all in maybe monthly for each property, $250 or so, give or take a little bit. So even if we're bringing in, several hundred, that's a win. But anyway, so February hits. Keep in mind now it's February 2020, right? So you know what's coming, the pandemic, right? So February hits, we start getting a few cancellations. People are kind of getting scared because there's kind of news that's happening. But then by the time March comes around, I mean, literally overnight. So at this point, we kind of had it figured out to where we had bookings all the way through July of 2020, right? And this was February when it first started. But literally, like the first week or 2 in March, when the news really hit, when the NBA shut down and all that kind of stuff hit, is really when it all started. I mean, we literally went from probably 90% occupied during that entire period for all 4 properties, like almost every night was booked, up and through July. We probably had like 99% cancellation almost overnight. I mean, it was crazy. So literally, I just saw our future income for those 4 properties went to 0, and I was like, wow, what do I do? So I know this happened to a lot of people that do Airbnb for a living, but I'm not the kind of guy that just waits around to see what happens and all those kind of things. Just like my wholesaling business, when the pandemic hit, I tripled my marketing budget because I saw opportunity. where a lot of other wholesalers and companies actually cut back or stopped altogether. So I had the same mindset, well, I'm not going to sit around and wait. I'll shut them all down and do rent to own on them all. So that's what I did. I shut them all down. I left all the furniture in the properties, so it gave people options. So I just changed my advertising, put it back on the marketplace. Like, hey, these are rent to own properties, fully furnished or not. That's optional. I think I was charging like $2,500 if they wanted everything in the house. Because keep in mind, I did buy the mattresses brand new, and they were, probably $500 a mattress. So I was in it for $1,500 per property just for the mattresses. So it was a pretty good deal, $2,500 for everything, including couches, end tables, coffee makers, microwaves, refrigerators, all of that, right? So anyways, I did end up doing rent to own on all of them. Obviously, I'm not making $1,000 or more per month because they're not Airbnbs any longer, but however, it did allow me to recoup fast, because I pivoted right away as opposed to waiting, because really it took probably until summertime for Airbnbs to even sort of kind of pick up again, and really it's taken a whole year, because even now they're just kind of right now just coming back fully fledged, but in the meantime I could have just been losing money all those months to where I just turned them into actual rent to own properties to where I'm actually making $400 or $500 per month on each property for the next 15 years, because all my rent to owns I do 15-year notes. So anyways, it was definitely an Airbnb nightmare, because overnight my income went from probably between the 4 properties, we were at least making $2,500 to $3,000 a month, like a minimum, over those months ahead, and it literally went to zero, and I didn't want that to happen. So I pivoted, and that's what you got to do in this business. You got to be flexible. You got to take action fast. You can't really think on things a lot, because that's when you can lose opportunities a lot of times. So anyways, that's what I did. It was definitely an Airbnb nightmare. Would I do it all again? Yes, I probably would. I still do have a lot of that, because I bought all the sheets and stuff brand new as well. So I do have a lot of inventory left from those experiences. So I'll do it again for sure. It was just bad timing is really what it amounted to. Right when I finally was getting traction, the pandemic hit, which shut down a lot of businesses. I'm just thankful to God that I was able to make something else happen with those, and I didn't lose money. I actually sold all that furniture for double what I paid for it in most cases. I think I sold one property with the furniture in it that somebody just wanted to go ahead and keep it. The other ones, we just moved it out back into a storage facility and just sold it, pieced it out, it took about 3 weeks probably to sell all of it. But anyways, that's kind of my story, my Airbnb story. Obviously my channel is mostly about wholesaling real estate, but you get all kinds of deals and all kinds of opportunities when you're wholesaling, because all types of leads come into your pipeline. So you just got to know what to do with those. You can't be a one-trick pony. Obviously wholesaling is what we want to do most cases, but we also want that long-term wealth. So anyways, hopefully you found value in this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I'd appreciate it. Give me your thoughts on what you think, and give me your own Airbnb nightmares that you might have had. So anyways, hope to see you in future videos, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.